Hey, it is day 29 of my Read Proverbs with Me to Start 2025 series, and if you're reading Proverbs with me, then you know that means today we are on Proverbs chapter 29. And if you don't know, this is a 31-day series I'm doing in January, where I'm inviting you to join me as I read through Proverbs, reading one chapter a day, and I post one video a day sharing what I liked and what stood out to me about the chapter for that day. So if you haven't joined and you want to join just for these last 3 days, or even just for chapter 29 today, I would love that. Or if you want to start from the beginning, start from day 1, I have all the rest of the videos on my page. If this is something you're interested in, I would love it if you followed along and if you joined. But here is what I liked and what stood out to me about chapter 29 today. When reading chapter 29 today, there was one verse that stood out to me, and that verse is verse 11 that says, "Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end." Something I've noticed through reading Proverbs is that most of the time whenever Solomon is comparing what a fool does and what a wise person does, the foolish person usually acts and gives into whatever the first impulse or natural reaction is, and the wise person usually acts with a decision that is made by having wisdom but also taking a second to think before a decision is made. So like with this verse, if something frustrating happens, getting upset or getting frustrated is a natural reaction, but a wise person brings calm in the end, so they know how to handle it and they know how to handle it well. And whenever I read this verse that says a fool gives full vent to their rage, I can't help but think of the Do Perfect Stereotypes Rage Monster. I don't know if you've seen those videos, but they're really good, and they always have one character in there that is called the Rage Monster. And for whatever the category is, like let's say pick up basketball stereotypes, the Rage Monster will get super upset, chuck the ball in the air, go kick a trash can over, something like that, but just fully give into their rage. And so that's what I've thought of when reading this verse. But this verse has also helped me a lot because it teaches us how to deal with frustration. In an area that I deal with frustration in my life is playing sports. I love playing sports, specifically basketball and football. But if you play sports, then you know that there are frustrating things that happen. Sometimes something doesn't go your way. Sometimes something impossibly unlucky can happen. Or other times you might just not be playing well. But these things can be frustrating, and it can be easy to get frustrated and give into it in the moment. You know, most of the time I'm not to the kick a trash can over level of the Rage Monster, but sometimes I could be doing that in my head. But either way, sports can be something that is frustrating for me, and so this verse has helped me in this area to be able to control frustration and to instead be positive, to keep a good attitude, and to not let frustration get the best of me whenever I'm in an area where I could get easily frustrated, like playing sports. Because what I've noticed about frustrating things that will happen is most of the time they're by far the most frustrating in the moment that they happen. But if I can choose to not act on my frustration, but to instead try to have a good attitude and be positive, most of the time within maybe even 30 minutes or a day, that thing wouldn't really be that frustrating to me later on. And so I'm always glad that I handled frustration well in the moment. And if I don't handle frustration well, then I always regret that I didn't handle it better. And so this verse has helped me so much, and this is what stood out to me about chapter 29 today. If you join me reading Proverbs and you read chapter 29 today, I would love to know what you liked about it. You can let me know in the comments. And if you want to join me reading Proverbs and you haven't yet, like I said at the beginning, I would love it if you joined even just for these last 3 chapters, or if you wanted to do the whole series and start from Proverbs chapter 1. It's never a bad time to read Proverbs, so I would love for you to follow along if you want to do that. I'll see you tomorrow for chapter 30.